The Vorthak had earned its reputation across 17 star systems as the apex predator of the void. Standing 12 feet tall with obsidian carapace that absorbed light itself, it moved through space stations and colonies like death incarnate. Its 4 arms ended in molecular sharp claws, and its eyeless head contained sensory organs that could detect fear from 3 decks away. Captain HFY of the Galactic Defense Corps had witnessed the aftermath on Kepler Station. 421 beings torn apart in less than 6 minutes. The security footage showed the Vorthak moving with impossible grace, each kill surgical, efficient. It fed on terror first, flesh second. "The pattern is clear," Commander Thallis reported to the emergency assembly on Orbital Platform 7. "It targets the most populated areas first, feeds on the panic. The Altarians lasted 18 minutes. The Centauri delegation, 7 minutes. The holographic display showed the creature's path of destruction across the galaxy. Each red dot represented a massacre. Each timestamp grew shorter. It's learning," Dr. Corvin added, her scaled hands trembling. "Adapting. The fear makes it stronger, faster." Ambassador Vextor from the Coalition spoke with barely contained horror. "On Arcturus Prime, it walked through our best military units like they were hatchlings. Energy weapons, plasma cannons, neural disruptors. Nothing even slowed it down. The creature seemed to enjoy their terror. The assembled representatives, Zephyrian, Altarian, Keplerite, and dozens of other species, fell into grim silence. The Vorthak was coming. Platform 7's isolation in the outer rim had bought them time, but not much. "There is one more thing," Captain HFY said reluctantly. "We've received word that a human transport will dock in 6 hours. They're requesting emergency repairs." The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Humans were known throughout the galaxy, but not for their military prowess. They were traders, diplomats, explorers, curious creatures who somehow managed to befriend every species they encountered, despite having no natural weapons, limited telepathic abilities, and embarrassingly short lifespans. "We cannot allow them to dock," Ambassador Vextor declared. "The Vorthak will sense their presence and—" An explosion rocked the platform. Emergency lights bathed everything in red. "It's here," Commander Thallis whispered. The Vorthak had somehow breached the outer hull without triggering proximity sensors. Through the station's corridors, screams began echoing, first from Section C, then spreading like wildfire. Captain HFY activated the emergency protocols. Blast doors slammed shut, dividing the platform into isolated sections. But they all knew it was merely delaying the inevitable. The creature moved through bulkhead walls like they were gossamer. Emergency teams reported glimpses of something impossible. A shadow that moved independently of light, leaving only carnage in its wake. "Section C is gone," came a panicked transmission. "Oh gods, it's here, it's—" The communication cut to static. That's when the human transport Wanderlust sent its docking request again. "This is Captain Sarah Chen requesting emergency docking. We're showing massive life sign fluctuations on your platform. Do you need assistance?" The assembled leaders stared at each other. The humans wanted to help. Even now, facing certain death, they wanted to help. "Negative, human vessel," Captain HFY transmitted. "Evacuate the system immediately. We have a Class Thartim predatory entity aboard." A pause. Then a copy that. "Requesting permission to dock anyway." Before anyone could respond, the docking bay doors began cycling. The human ship, barely larger than a shuttle, settled into Bay 7 with practiced ease. The Vorthak was now in Section F. Only 2 bulkheads remained between it and the command center. Captain Sarah Chen entered the command deck alone. She was unremarkable by galactic standards. Average height, brown skin, dark hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She wore a plain blue jumpsuit and carried no visible weapons. "Where is everyone?" she asked, looking around at the dozens of alien dignitaries. "Captain Chen," Dr. Corvin said urgently, "you must leave immediately. The creature will sense your fear and—" Sarah tilted her head curiously. "What creature?" As if summoned by her words, the final bulkhead dissolved. The Vorthak flowed into the command center like liquid nightmare, 12 feet of absolute predation. Its presence sucked warmth from the air itself. Every alien in the room collapsed to their knees, overwhelmed by primal terror. Some began weeping. Others simply stared in catatonic horror. The Vorthak paused, its sensor organs swiveling toward the humans. It had expected the familiar bouquet of terror, the delicious cascade of stress hormones and neural panic that seasoned its meals. Instead, Captain Chen looked directly at the creature and smiled. Not a grimace of fear, not a desperate doomed grin, a genuine warm smile of curiosity and welcome. "Well, hello there," she said softly. "Aren't you magnificent?" The Vorthak recoiled as if struck. In 17 star systems across hundreds of encounters, nothing had ever looked upon it without fear. This small soft creature seemed pleased to meet it. "I've never seen anything like you," Sarah continued, taking a step closer. The assembled aliens watched in horror, but she seemed completely at ease. "The way you move through solid matter, is that a quantum phase ability? That's incredible." The predator's claws extended involuntarily, but Sarah clapped her hands together in delight. "Oh, molecular disruption fields. The engineering implications alone." She looked genuinely fascinated. "I'm Sarah, by the way. What's your name?" The Vorthak had no name. It had never needed one. It was hunger, it was death, it was the thing that ended things. But this small creature looked at it like it was a person. "You must have traveled so far," Sarah said, her voice gentle. "Are you hungry, lonely? I bet it gets quiet out there between the stars." For the first time in its existence, the Vorthak hesitated. The fear it fed on was absent. In its place was something it had no framework to understand. Genuine concern, curiosity, and an inexplicable warmth that seemed to emanate from the human. Sarah reached into her jumpsuit and withdrew a small wrapped item. "It's not much, but I was saving this chocolate bar for a special occasion. Meeting you definitely qualifies." She held it out without fear, without hesitation. The Vorthak stared at the offered gift. Slowly, carefully, one of its massive claws retracted to reveal something like a hand. It accepted the chocolate with the delicacy of handling an artifact. "There you go," Sarah said, her smile never wavering. "Welcome to Platform 7. The greatest predator in known space sat down heavily, still clutching the chocolate bar, and for the first time in its existence, experienced something other than hunger. It experienced friendship, and in that moment the galaxy learned something about humans that would reshape interstellar relations forever. They were the only species that looked at a monster and saw a person who might just need a friend.